Everybody, please give a big round of applause for Travis Robertson.
Thank you, Josh. How you guys doing today? Good. Who's got a food coma? Yeah, just a few. Who's hungover? Actually, last year, no joke, last year in one of the sessions that I did, there was actually a group of guys drinking in the back of one of the rooms, and they just got out of control and wild and crazy. So I've had drunk hecklers before, so bring it on. I got thick skin. It's fun to do. All right, so here's the deal. For those who don't know me, I am Travis Robertson. I'm the CEO and founder of Robertson Coaching International. We are one of the fastest growing real estate coaching and training companies in North America. And when ReMax invited me back, I thought, you know what an honor. I love coming back to ReMax because ReMax is one of those companies that I have such a wonderful relationship with. And the agents that I get to see year after year, event after event, you guys are like family to me. Honestly, I spend more time on the road than I do at home, so I know most of you better than I know my quote-unquote friends at home. So this is like a family reunion for me. So thank you for having me back. Now, how many of you were at the opening session on Monday night? You guys were at the, okay, good. How many saw the video that Dave played of me and Brian Buffini and Tom Ferry and Richard Robbins? Did you guys see that? Did you guys see when Dave made fun of me after it was all over for having a beard? Yeah, he called me out. So I was like, I walked backstage and I was like, Dave, I'm like, you saying I got to shave this? And he goes, I just don't get it. And I thought, you know what? I'm a millennial. And millennials have Google. And Google has history. And I thought to myself, I wonder if Dave ever had facial hair. Yeah, see, Dave, when you go toe-to-toe with a millennial who knows how to use Google, you want to be careful what you make fun of him for. So I found a picture of Dave. Yeah, found a picture of Dave. And I thought, you know what is that, like, hairy worm growing on his face there? You know, because Dave absolutely had facial hair. So what we're going to be talking about today, we've got a lot of ground to cover, and a few things that I want to talk about before we get into this is that what we're going to be talking about today is actionable, practical things. This isn't theory. This is what works for our clients, for the people that we coach, that we train, that we help. This is exactly what they're doing in their business, which is why I titled this The Real Estate Playbook, How to Grow Your Business by 40% in the Next 12 Months. And the reason I chose 40% is because if I chose a larger number, you'd think I was being sensational. But everybody we're going to look at today grew their business by at least 50 to 60% last year in the last 12 months, and I'm going to open up their playbooks. I'm going to show you exactly what they did so you can take it, you can steal it, which is my hope for you, that you will steal this and that you will leverage it and use it in your business. That's what I want you to do. So we're going to cover a lot of ground today, and what I would encourage you to do is this: write everything down. Because you can't possibly remember everything that we're going to cover. And if you can't remember everything we're going to cover, you're going to get back and be like, oh, what was that brilliant idea? Because I'll tell you what, today is filled with brilliant ideas, but they're brilliant ideas that have been executed on by our clients, and some of them are their own ideas, and that we get to steal and use for our other clients. We work with some of the most amazing people, and I want to take a second to acknowledge them, because I get to come back and do this every single year, and do this for different events and different people. I travel all over the country, all over North America, and I couldn't do it if it weren't for my team, who are absolutely amazing. They do all the hard work behind the scenes. I get to stand up here and take all the glory, but it is truly them that allow me to do what I do, and it's also our clients. We work with some of the most amazing clients in the industry. They're some of the most giving, wonderful people, and it's them and it's my team that allow me to do this. And so I just want to take a second and say to them, thank you so much for letting me do this, because if it weren't for you, I wouldn't have a job. So thank you guys very much. Yeah, please, a round of applause for them, because they are awesome. Thank you. All right, so what we've done today is, the way we're going to kind of move through today is I want to talk first and foremost about some of the challenges that are facing the real estate industry, some of the challenges that are facing every single one of us in this room right now, and help you identify the challenges. Because once you identify the challenges, then you can start to figure out, okay, how do we solve or address the challenges that we're facing as an industry? And I've identified multiple challenges. Today, for the sake of time, we're only going to look at the key three that I think are important for our conversation today. And the first challenge is this, what I like to call the 3,500 challenge. The 3,500 challenge. And the 3,500 challenge says this: the average consumer today sees between 3,500 and 4,000 advertising messages per day. Per day. Now, how many of you have a message you'd like to get through to those people? All of us, right? And if we want to get our message through to them, we have to cut through the static, through the noise, through all the stuff that they're hearing, and through all the static. And so how do we do that? That's one of the things that we're going to look at today. Second challenge is this, what we call the S.O.S challenge. This is the shiny object syndrome challenge, right? And the shiny object syndrome challenge is that there are so many different things that you could do in your business, and realtors sometimes are like people with ADHD like myself, but on crack, right? And like, squirrel, squirrel, right? And they're all over the place, and they end up spinning plates because they got, oh, I got to be on Facebook. Oh, I got to be on Pinterest. Oh, I got to be on Truly. And right now the camera guy's hating me going, move, stop moving. So this is what you get when you deal with a guy with, ADHD. So anyway, so here's the thing. I know, camera guys, every time I do this, they're like, hey, could you move a little less? I'm like, no. So, okay, it's more fun. So this is one of the challenges we have to face. And somebody once told me this, that I could be 20 bucked into bankruptcy in this industry because everything costs 20 bucks a month. And all of a sudden, 20 products later, you're $4,000 a month, and you're going, what am I getting for this? I don't know. I'm busy, I'm stressed, I'm exhausted, and most agents that we work with, their stress when they come to us comes from the shiny object syndrome because they've been trying everything for so long and they're exhausted and they're burnt out. How many of you can relate to that feeling? Yeah, everybody can, right? Because it's a horrible place to be. So I want to show you how to address that challenge. And then the third challenge is this, the perception challenge. And the perception challenge is the perception of the real estate professional from outside of the industry. And would you guys agree that the perception of a real estate agent isn't all that good sometimes in the real estate industry? Would you guys agree with that? Or outside the real estate industry? And one of the reasons is this, is that when consumers are surveyed, they ask them, what are the professions that you trust the most? Right? What are the professions you trust the most? And what usually shows up at the top is like doctor, nurse, teacher, all the noble professions, right? The noble, the servants of the community, right? Those are the ones, firefighter. Those are the ones that show up at the top. So if you're a real estate agent, you get that list, and you're like, okay, cool, we got to be on there somewhere, right? So you start scrolling down through that list, you're looking through that list, you get about halfway down, you're like, I must have missed it. So you go back up to the top, and you're looking down, you're like, okay, crap, I didn't miss it. We got to be on here somewhere, though. So you get down to the bottom of the list, and just above lawyer is real estate agent. You're like, are we that bad? But then how many of you can think of a real estate agent in your market that you pray every day when you wake up, you're like, Lord Jesus, make them go bankrupt. Because they're ruining our reputation. You know who I'm talking about, right? You can think of them right now. If they're in the room, don't look at them. And you know this person, you're like, I just wish they would go out of business because they are dragging the industry perception down. And how many of you are in sales? Some of you are like, I'm not sure, I haven't sold anything in a while. But we're going to fix that. So if you're in sales, do people have a good perception of sales professionals? No. Do we like salespeople? No, we try and avoid being thought of as a salesperson. When you think of a salesperson, what are some of the words that you think of? Shout it out. Pushy, right? What else? Annoying, slimy, right? Used car salesman. What we think of is this guy. And nobody wants to be that guy, right? What we want to be somebody that's respected, that's trusted, that people love to work with. We don't want to be thought of as that guy that's like, hey, I got a deal for you. Right? But yet that's how a lot of people think of real estate agents. They're not professional. They don't dress well. They don't take care of themselves. And they're just trying to push me into something for their own commission. And does the media help? No, the media doesn't help, do they? See, the media is not always great to this profession. So your branding, your business, your marketing, your messaging, everything that you do has to compete with a perception that's out there. And that can be a challenge sometimes because you have to overcome all of this. And I will tell you this and I'll relieve you from this burden. You don't have to change everybody's perception of the industry. You just want them to have a different perception of you. And I want to show you how to do that today. All right, so what is the goal of marketing? When we look at marketing, marketing has one goal and one goal only. Now, this is a large room, and for the sake of time, I don't want you guys to shout it out. But when you think of it, what do you think the goal of marketing is? Because usually when I ask this question in a smaller environment, they say, you know what, to get a sale, to generate a lead, to get my messaging out there, my branding out there, to let people know who I am. to convert somebody, right? To stay top of mind. And you know, all of these are good answers, but they're not the goal of marketing. They're not the goal of marketing. They're a goal of some marketing, but they're not the goal of all marketing. And marketing has one goal and one goal only. And if you do this one goal, all the other things will fall into place. And the goal of marketing is this. Your goal is to motivate your prospects to take the next step with you, no matter what that next step is. Think about that. No matter what the next step is, your marketing has to be focused on helping them take that next step with you, no matter what that next step is. Why? Because are all of the leads you get hot? Now, wouldn't it be awesome if they were? Like, hey, I got 500 grand just burning a hole in my pocket. Can we go spend it? You just find a house for me. You tell me what I should offer for it, and I'll offer it right now, and we'll just do like a 5-day escrow. It's awesome, right? Or do all your listing leads call you and go, hey, I really want you to come over, take a look at the house, and you know what? You just go ahead and bring the contract, pre-filled out. You set the price because I trust you. I'll list it for whatever you tell me to list it for, and we'll just go ahead and get this thing listed. Doesn't happen, does it? See, what percentage of your leads are probably hot leads? Anywhere from about 3 to 5%. Because I like big round numbers, let's say it's 5%. Let's say 5% of the leads you get are hot leads at any given point in time. What does that mean for the other 95% if your marketing is focused on converting those 5% of leads? I was doing this in an arena one time, and a gentleman sitting in the front row shouts it out, and he goes, I ignore him. So at least you're being honest. Because the problem is if your marketing is focused on, let's say, getting a sale, converting that 5%, what happens to the other 95% with your marketing is that you, by default, ignore them. You may not actively try to ignore them, but because your marketing is focused on that 5%, you have no choice but to basically, by default, ignore 95% of the people that are coming into your system, coming into your database, and that is a waste of your money. That's a huge waste of your money. See, no matter where people are, the average internet lead, we know this is about 6 to 18 months out from being ready to move forward, from being ready to make a decision. And so what that means is if your marketing is focused on that 5%, those people who have a decision to make 6 to 18 months down the road from now, and they don't hear from you, and they get nothing from you, and they don't get motivated to take that next step with you, no matter what that next step is, you're ignoring them, and in 6 to 18 months, who do they call? Somebody else. Because they haven't been ignored by somebody else. So how do we fix this? How do we fix this? We're going to look at the 5 different phases that your leads are going to walk through, the different phases that you have an opportunity to motivate them to take that next step with you, no matter what that next step is, so that you understand what are the 5 phases of marketing and how do we capitalize on them. We'll show you some examples from our clients through all of those that you can take, that you can steal, and that you can use. So what I want to do is I want to show you the 3 secrets for successful marketing. There are 3 secrets for successful marketing, and if you follow these 3 things and these 3 things only, if you just do these 3 things and all you take from today are these 3 things, I promise you this, it will ignite, it will explode your business over the next 12 months. It happens every single time with our clients. When we get them to focus in on these 3 things, and we take somebody who's exhausted, who's stressed, who's burnt out, who's frustrated, who's all over the place, and we get them to focus in on these 3 things and these 3 things only, it lights up their business. It lights up their income, and that's what I want for you. So what is the first secret? Number 1 is clarity. Clarity. They get extremely clear about what they want to accomplish in their business and with their marketing. See, most people, when they come to us and we say, what do you want out of your business? They go, I want to make more money. It's like, awesome. So do I. How are you going to do it? I don't know. That's why I'm hiring you. That's why I'm talking to you. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm not clear about what I want. And the problem is when you just want something, all you have is you have a hope, a wish, or a dream. And guess what? Hopes, wishes, and dreams, they don't pay the bills, do they? They don't pay the bills. We've got to get a clear plan. And when we're looking at something that we want to do to market our business, what we have to be clear about is what are the results that I want? How much am I willing to invest for my time, my money, my resources, my energy? And what is it that I expect? How am I going to measure the success of this marketing idea? How am I going to measure the success? And we got to get extremely clear about what we want. Number 2 is simplicity. Simplicity. One of the most amazing things you will discover is that the people that have the most explosive growth, the agents that have the most explosive growth, have oftentimes the most simple marketing plans. They have the most simple marketing plans, and the reason is because of this. They know that when their marketing plans are not simple, they're all over the place. They got the S.O.S thing going on, and like, I'm all over the place, spinning plates, trying to keep plates, and they get stressed, they get exhausted, they get frustrated, and they go, this isn't fun anymore. This isn't fun anymore, and they get overwhelmed and exhausted, and you want to simplify your marketing plan. And if all you did is say, you know what, instead of doing all these things, I'm going to focus on 1 to 3 things over the next 12 months that I'm going to do to market and grow my business. 1 to 3 things, I promise you, that alone would light up your business in the next 12 months. That alone. But most people go this, well, I've heard that top producers have lead sources from anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 different lead sources. So doesn't that mean that I've got to get 10 to 15 to 20 different lead sources going in my business? And the answer is no. Eventually, maybe, but right now, no. That's not what you need. What you need is focus on 3 things. And here's what we've discovered. They may have lead sources, 20 different lead sources or 15 different lead sources, but they're going to have those by default. See, what they're going to do is they're going to focus their time and energy on only about 3 things at any given point in time because they know Pareto's principle, 20% of their effort delivers 80% of their results. So they're going to let all the other lead sources happen by default. They're going to focus their time and their energy on the 3 most important to their business and what it is that they're trying to create. Why do they do that? For the 3rd secret, consistency. Consistency. They have to stay consistent in their marketing, as do you. They have to stay absolutely consistent in their marketing. Most people, when they start to market, what happens is they get busy. And when we get busy, what happens to our marketing? Stops, doesn't it? It dries up. And when it dries up, we're like, whew, I'm so busy, I may never have to market my business again, right? And all of a sudden, you put that last client under contract, and you're like, oh, crap, right? Because now, what do you got to do? You got to crank up your marketing again, don't you? And when you crank up your marketing like that, you're not talking to people for 6 to 12 months, and all of a sudden they start hearing from you again, and it's like coming to a ReMax convention, and I guarantee every single person in this room has had this experience, right? You met somebody last year. You're like, I like that guy. I like that girl. You're like, let's stay in touch, right? So you bump phones, you exchange information, you're like, here's my business card, right? And so you're like, we'll keep in touch. Yeah, good to talk with you. Well, I'll see you, I'll see you online on Facebook. And the problem is, you never keep in touch with them. You don't talk to them, and then you've been walking through the halls here over the last couple of days, and you see them coming down the road or down the hallway, and you're like, oh, crud. Why? Because you can't remember their name. And so what you do is you do this, you're like, hey, you sup, right? And the old joke is the higher the pitch somebody's voice goes, the more they forgot your name. And you know you've done this. How many, admit it, raise your hand if you've done this. Yeah, every single person. Why? Because you're seeing somebody, and what happened is from the time you met them last week or last year to this year, how much communication was there? None. And so when you saw them again this year and you start talking to them, this is probably what it sounds like. Hey, and you finally work up the nerve. You're like, Joe, oh, Tim. Oh, it's good to see you again, Tim. How are the kids? Oh, you don't have kids. Oh. How are the dogs? Oh, you're a cat person. No wonder I did kind of keep in touch with you over the last year. Not a cat guy. Okay, so you do this whole thing. Now, are you building a relationship with Tim? No, what are you doing? You're reintroducing yourself to Tim. You introduced yourself last year. You're reintroducing yourself this year. And guess what? In your marketing, if your marketing isn't consistent, guess what you're doing? Every time you crank back up your marketing, you're reintroducing yourself to everybody that you say you want to build a relationship with. You see, relationships take consistency. They take consistency for you to show up and be there and communicate and talk to people. And your marketing is a form of relationship with the people that you want to serve. It's building that rapport. It's building that trust. It's establishing all of that. And if you stop it, they're seeing 3,500 to 4,000 advertising messages a day. And guess what? They forgot who you are. And so they get your postcard again and like, oh, brand new realtor in the area. That's what they're thinking because they forgot who you are. So we've got to stay consistent. Those 3 things are the most important things I want you to walk away from today with. Everything else we're going to talk about is strategical, it's tactical, but if you understand these 3 things, those 3 things alone will change your business. Now let's look at the 5 phases of marketing. The 5 phases, these are the 5 phases that everybody you work with, they're going to walk through these 5 phases. And if you understand these 5 phases, this is your opportunity to capitalize on them and do what your competitors are not doing in each one of these phases. Now, I'm going to set a caveat here that 95% of your leads will go through all 5. 5% of your leads will start around phase 3. They're going to go from 1 and they're going to jump to phase 3, and you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. But 95% are going to go from 1, 2, 3, 4, and then on to 5. And you have an opportunity to improve your marketing at each phase, and that's what's going to ignite and explode your business by at least 40% over the next 12 months. So what are the 5 phases? The first is what we call lead generation, is what that should say. Lead generation. Phase one is lead generation. And each phase along this process has a question that you're going to answer, that you're going to ask yourself, and that you have to find the answer for when you're working on your marketing plan, your business plan. You've got to ask yourself this question and then figure out what is this going to mean for me and my business plan. Because there's no wrong way to generate a lead, but I'll tell you what, there's a lot of ways you can generate a lead. There's only a few ways you should generate a lead. I want to say that again. I want you to write that down. There's a lot of ways you can generate a lead. There's only a few ways you should generate a lead. So the question you're going to ask yourself is this: how will I generate new leads? How will I generate new leads? What are you going to do in your business to generate new leads? And this is where we want to focus on 1 to 3 things, and 1 to 3 things only over the next 12 months. And I want to show you something, because people always go, what's working right now? What's working in your client's business? What's something that's working really well? How many would like more listing leads? Raise your hand. Okay, I'm going to show you how to get more listing leads. And this is working extremely well. So here's what this does. It involves Facebook. It involves Facebook ads specifically. I want to show you how this works. I want to map this out for you, and you can feel free to, by the way, take pictures of this if you want to take pictures of this. I really don't care. Steal it word for word. I'm totally cool with it. And what you do is you use Facebook ads, and it lays out kind of like this. Use Facebook ads to drive traffic to a website, and that website is designed to help people get the value of their home. So it gives them a CMA, some sort of CMA or valuation on the backside of them filling out their information. And all they can do is they can fill out their address, and that address then goes to another page where they submit a few more bits of information, then they get a valuation on their home, and you have a listing lead. Now, people go, what does this look like? This is what it looks like on a chart, but what does it actually look like? This is what it looks like. I want to show you what a website looks like, or what an ad looks like. So the ad on Facebook looks something like this. Pretty picture of a home. Please no iPhone photos, because your iPhone photos will not draw clicks. You want people to click on this. So it's a pretty picture of a home, and it says, curious what your home is worth in today's market, click for a free no obligation report. And it's just it's a little thing. Why would they be curious about what their home is worth in today's market? They might be interested in selling at some point in the future. Different lengths of time. But you use this ad, and they click that ad, and it takes them to a website. And that website looks something like this. Are you selling your Portland home or condo, whatever it is, and you want to localize it with big, pretty pictures of your local scenery? Make sure that they know it's a localized website. And this localized website, when they get there, all they have an option, you kind of can't see it on the screen, but all it is a box, and it says enter an address. That's all it says, enter an address. And they enter an address, and then they go through a couple steps, and then on the back side of it, they see something like this. Here's the estimated market value of your home, 4.3 million to 4.47 million. Here's the comps in there. Here's where they are on a map. Here's your neighborhood ratings, all this information. And what that does is that generates a lead for you, and then you follow up on that lead. Now, to give you an example, I can't give you the numbers because they've asked me not to, but I will tell you the return has been incredible. So Jason Miller, who's one of our clients who you're going to hear a little bit more about today, he's sitting, where are you, Jason? I know you, oh, there you are, third row back. And Jason turned this on last week and then had to shut it off before he got to Vegas. In a matter of 24 hours, Jason generated 200 listing leads for a very small amount of money, like ridiculous amount of money. Very small amount of money. And of those 200 leads, roughly 200, about 120 of them had partial information. So they didn't have all of their information, but you know what he at least had? Their address. And if you had the address of people who were interested in the value of their home, do you think you might be able to crank up some marketing related to that? Absolutely. But 80 of those leads had at least an email address, and a lot of them had also a phone number, and they've already gotten appointments off of those listing leads. They've already got appointments off of those listing leads. This works very, very well. And people always go, well, what site are they using? What system are they using? And I am not able to say it from stage. It's not cool if I say it from stage, but here's what I can do. I want to give you a way to get this information, see the program that they're using. So all you have to do is you have to text the keyword FB, like Facebook, but just put FB to the number you see up on the screen, and we'll go ahead and get that out to you. We'll get that out to you immediately. You can have that. You can take a look at the resources there. But here's what I want you to keep in mind. This is a computer that you're texting with. This is not a live person. So please, please, please follow the instructions, or you will not get the information. When you text it, it'll respond back to you, and you'll go, oh, this is like a person. But if you don't do what the system asks, the system's kind of stupid, and you're not going to get your stuff. So make sure you follow the prompts on the screen. Everybody got a picture of this or written it down? All right, moving on. Phase number 2 is lead nurturing. Lead nurturing. And see, this is where most agents' businesses break down. What they do is they generate leads, and then nothing happens once the lead, they're just chasing the hot ones, that 5%, and the other 95% are getting ignored by default. And your lead nurturing phase is basically answering this question: how will I communicate with them until they're ready to move forward? How are you going to communicate with somebody until they're ready to move forward? Because if the average online lead, or any lead most of the time nowadays, is 6 to 18 months out from being ready to make a decision, and all you're doing is chasing the hot leads, you got to start answering a question. How am I going to build a lead nurturing system on the back end that I'm going to be communicating with them over and over and over and over and over again until they're ready to move forward? That's what we've got to do. We've got to communicate with them, and I want to show you kind of what this looks like. One of our coaches by the name of Nathan Dart, I want to show you exactly what they do, because they convert their online leads at 24%. 24%. And they didn't do that once. It's not like they did that 1 month and we're like, yay, let's put it up on the screen and tell everybody how to convert at 24%. Jason generates a lot of leads and has been doing this for a long time. 18 months, over 18 months, he's been averaging 24% conversion on his list or on his internet leads, and I want to show you exactly how he does it. And this is Nathan, and I want to point out a couple of things. Number one, Nathan invests about $4,000 a month with Zillow. He gets a lot of his leads from Zillow. Zillow is a great resource. You can talk with Jason about it. He gets a lot of leads, and most people go, oh, Zillow leads are crap. I promise you it's not the leads, it's the nurturing system. It's the nurturing system. Most people don't give it enough time to work, and I want to show you what this looks like. So he has a $4,000 a month ad budget, and in his market in Metro Washington, D.C., in the farm areas that he wants to work, he owns 100% of one of the zip codes, 80% of one of the other zip codes, so he has very, very deep penetration, and he's been building up to that over time. He didn't start at $4,000 a month. He started at a couple hundred, and he built up from there. I don't care if it's Zillow or somebody else, but online leads can work if you do what I'm about to show you. By the way, last year, Jason did $1.26 million in gross commission income. The years before that, 2 years before that, he was at like 600 and something. So he's more than doubled his business in just 2 short years. Very, very successful using this strategy. So here's what this looks like. First and foremost, he understands that the most important thing is the number of touches. The number of touches. See, what this shows us, what this chart shows us is this, is that if you don't even make it to 5 touches, the odds of you increasing a sale or getting a sale jump by 50% if you get to 5 touches. Most agents, how many times do they connect with a lead? 1 to 3 times. They don't even make it to 5 touches. They quit after 1 to 3 attempts. Nathan knows that that's not going to work. So he also knows that at 8 touches, your odds of getting that lead jump to 80%, by 80%. After 12 touches, look at that. You have a 90% increase in conversion, or likelihood that you're going to convert a lead if you get to 12 touches or more. 90%. That's the value of touching them over and over and over again on the back side. And I don't mean touching them on the back side. I just realized what I said. Yeah, ADHD, baby, right here. All right, so here's the thing. So this is the principle that this is built on. Many, many, many touches. Now, here's what this looks like. First and foremost, they understand that the speed of response is critical. And I want you to see, this is a study that was done by Trulia. And Trulia wanted to find out how fast, like if you respond within a certain amount of time, what does it do to your conversion rate? And here's what they found. And I'm not going to read it all, you can take a picture of it. But here's what they found. If you respond in less than 1 minute, notice what that does to your improvement on conversion, up 391%. You have an odds of converting that go up by 391% if you contact them within 1 minute. Under 3 minutes, you're still at 98%, but notice what happens at about an hour or 24 hours. Your odds of converting start to drop dramatically after that first minute. And Nathan knows that the most important thing for his team is to respond as quickly as possible. Same with Jason Miller. They do the exact same thing. Respond as quickly as possible. Camille Earhart, same thing. Respond as quickly as possible, because this is going to make the determination between whether we get the lead or somebody else does. Which agent do most people tend to go with? The first one. That's why response time is so critical. Then this is what this looks like from here. So once they respond, or once they make the first attempt, they don't just stop. They don't try 2 or 3 more times. Here's exactly what this looks like. And by the way, I'm about to show you something that's going to give some of you a mild heart attack. You're going to have a panic attack. And what I'm going to show you is what Nathan does in the first 2 weeks. First 2 weeks only. If you want the full thing, I'll give you a way you can get the full thing at the end. I don't have time to show it all. I can't even fit it all on the screen. But I want to show you what he does to connect with people in the first 2 weeks of working with a new lead. Now, bear with me. I will explain all of this. So this is what it looks like. When a lead comes in from Zillow, they make 2 calls a day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks straight. Right now, I lost about 95% of the room. You're like, you're an idiot. Nathan is an idiot, right? And here's why. Do you think they ever get that far without talking to somebody? No, they never make it. They almost never make that many calls, but they will try and they will try and they will try. Twice a day, 5 days a week for 2 weeks straight. Think about it. If they're getting that many calls, at some point you're just going to pick up the phone and tell the realtor to go to HE double hockey sticks, right? You're like, go away. But here's the thing, that's fine. If they get that, that's totally cool. If they ignore them, they go somewhere else. But also in that first 2 weeks, if they don't have a phone number, they're going to send at least 3 to 5 emails in the first 2 weeks, 2 to 3 text messages in the first 2 weeks, which are working very, very well, by the way. And they're going to start to personalize it. This is just in the first 2 weeks because they know if they can be the first realtor that they respond to, that lead responds to, their odds of getting the deal go way, way up. Now, maybe you won't convert at 24%, but how many would like to convert at 10%? Right? 10% would make a difference in most people's pocketbooks. This does work. It's just a matter of working the system. Most people never make it that long. Now, I want to ask you a question. How many people ignore some of your emails? Yeah, I hate email. I hate email. I truly do. I don't even read my own email. I have somebody on my team read my email for me and just tell me what I should respond to. That's honest truth. I hate email. Now, is it really easy to ignore an email from somebody that you don't know? It's very easy, isn't it? And the problem is when you're sending something and they fill out a form on the website and you send something back to them and they expect you can automate all of this, but when you get an email, let's say you actually hand wrote the email and it had your signature line at the bottom, is it still really easy to ignore? Yeah, because they don't know who you are. They have no emotional connection with you because all you are is a signature line at the bottom of an email. That's all you are. And so what Nathan wanted to figure out is what happens if we personalize this? Is there a way to personalize the responses so that what we're getting is actual people going, wow, this is a person on the other side, not a machine, not a computer, not a system. Wonder what that would do for our conversion. So what he did is he had everybody on his team basically grab a cell phone, and like an iPhone or an Android. If you have a BlackBerry, you should upgrade. But what he did is he had them all do this, and they turn the phone on themselves, and they go, hi, my name's Alex or Orly or whoever, and I just want to introduce myself. If there's anything I can help you with, blah, 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 blah. They do this whole thing, and they send it out, and you know what it did? It increased the response rate. Because now they weren't ignoring a system or a name at the bottom of an email, they were ignoring a person, and it's a whole lot harder to ignore a person. And at first they did it, every single lead that came in, they personalized it. They're like, this is not scaling. So then they recorded a general one, and I want you to watch what one of these looks like. And this is from one of the gals on his team by the name of Orly.
I received your request for information via Zillow this morning about a property in the Kentlands. I am a buyer specialist in the area, and I would love the opportunity to chat with you. Please feel free to give me a call anytime on my cell, which is 240-671-4060. Again, that's 240-671-4060. And I hope I get to speak with you soon. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Simple. Notice she didn't personalize it. All it was personalized is the area because they have a very specific farm area that they work. So they just have to record different videos for the different neighborhoods. Then they send these out. You know what this does? This prompts response because people think that they actually recorded it for them. They go, oh, Orly, I'm so sorry I haven't called you back after your 15 calls. But it's so nice to meet you. They actually send this out on day 2, by the way. They send this out on day 2. They don't send it on day 1. They send it out on day 2. And they send out a video and they just say, hey, here's who I am. I'm a real person on the backside of this. And it increases the response rate. People respond back and go, oh, God, you're a real person. I'm sorry I've been ignoring you. Here, I'm not ready yet, but in a few months, keep sending me the stuff you're sending me. Or they say, yeah, let's meet. Let's get this ready to go. Do you think this would change your conversion rate if you did something like this? Would it be easy to do for the neighborhoods that you specialize in? Absolutely. Little bits like this that personalize it, that say, hey, wait a minute, I'm a human. I love technology, but this is still a person-to-person contact sport, face-to-face business, isn't it? This is still people doing business with people. And they see you and they know you and they go, wow, that looks like a good guy. That looks like a good woman. I want to work with them. I at least want to talk to them and stay in touch with them. That's the value of something like this. Phase number 3 is what we call lead conversion. Lead conversion. And lead conversion is the time. So you've been nurturing, and all of a sudden you get the call. And like, hey, I want to meet. I want to talk with you. I want to get to know you. Can we go look at houses? Can we go, can you come over and evaluate my home? Because I'm thinking of selling. And we love when that happens. And see, the 5%, what they do is you generated the lead. They jump from phase 1 to phase 3. And when they raise their hand, what happens is from the time they raise their hand to the time they sign on the dotted line, you know what happens to most agents' marketing? Stops. And maybe the only thing that they get is a call from you to confirm that you have an appointment with them that day. So you say, hey, it's Tuesday, let's meet on Friday. Okay, cool, I'll meet you Friday at your house, and I'll call you on Thursday to confirm. That's it. And nothing happens. And what an incredible opportunity to start cranking up the marketing, because you may not be the only agent they're talking to. And if you're not the only agent they're talking to, what you want to be able to do is separate yourself from everybody else that they may be engaging with. So what does this look like? There's a few things that you should do. You should mail them things. You should call them. You should have a whole bunch of stuff that you send out that talks about the value that you bring, the things that you deliver, the things that separate you from your competitors. You bring value and educate, and you educate, and you educate. And one of the most powerful ways you can do that is video. And I want to show you a video that one of our clients by the name of Jason Miller, who I was talking about earlier, put together. And this is something that when a lead comes in, when somebody's figuring out, do I want to meet with you? And they say, I'd like to meet with you. I'd like to talk with you. Nathan has one of these. Jason has one of these. I want to show you Jason's. And what this is this is a video that talks about the difference they bring to the consumer, to the client, of other agents in the marketplace. And they send this out and they ask them to watch it before they have a meeting. And this changes. By the way, this is the question you're answering right here. How can I increase my conversion rate? How can I increase my conversion rate? Because there are so many things you can do to to increase your conversion rate. As an example, Nathan converts his listing presentations at 94% using strategies like this. Jason, very, very similar numbers, very high conversion, because when people get to know them, they go, that's the person I want to use. He builds the rapport. So watch this video.
Hi, I'm Jason Miller from ReMax Home Sales Services and the team leader of the Miller team. I run a successful office of real estate agents and a large team of realtors in Southeast Michigan. Well, I started my career in real estate as an assistant, so I learned the business from the inside out, really working with the transactional side of our business, and then we migrated me into showing homes and then listing properties. And 10 years ago, I bought my first franchise. Our offices are located in Plymouth, Michigan, and makes it easy for us to service all of our clients regardless of where they are in Metro Detroit. What sets us apart from the average real estate team in our marketplace is truly our people. We recognize that each one of our people has to be a specialist at what they do, and so when we've hired them with their specific skill in mind, which allows us to have people that can really hone in on what's important at each step. So when you're working with one of our buyer specialists are actually experts at our marketplace. They know lifestyles, the places people want to live, the things that they want to do to enjoy their lives outside of buying a home. And it makes it a much different experience for our customers. And consistently, when we hear back from feedback from our clients, we can recognize that that's one of the things that they really appreciate about working with us.
They did a fantastic job in helping us, and we didn't know the process. So, when it's your first house like it is for us, you need that help. You need someone to help guide you and push you in the right direction. So.
They were very patient and, kind of helping me weed out what I did and didn't want.
Helping people buy a home or sell a home and make transitions and moves for their family is a lot of fun. Our people enjoy what they do, which makes it easy for us to get excited for you. When we're making those early morning phone calls to let you know good news, or we're making the late evening phone calls to tell you, congratulations, you just got the house, we get excited. And that excitement is why we still do this. It's more than a paycheck, it's more than a transaction. It's about helping a family achieve a dream. And there aren't a lot of other places in the world that you can do that other than real estate. It is still the American dream. Everybody wants to still own a home, and they should.
I would recommend that if you want to work with somebody that's going to be a friend and also give you results, the Miller team is the only team.
Yeah, the Miller team really listens to what you have to say about what you're looking for, because they really pay attention to things that you like and don't like and really work with what you want to see.
I never felt like there was a point in this where where any of the process lacked integrity. So
Integrity, honesty.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a job transfer that has to happen. Maybe it's a retirement looking to move closer to grandkids. Maybe it's a dream home that they're trying to move into and they've got to sell their first home. It's a complex situation for everybody, and each situation we deal with is different. Every client that we have has a different need, a different want, a different desire, and they want a different outcome. Most real estate agents are not trained to be able to do that. Most people don't know that what's truly important to you has to become truly important to us. Without it being important to us, there's no way you'll get the outcome you're looking for. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. We know that when picking a real estate agent to help you and your family, it can be a daunting task. We hope that the information we provided you is of value, and the Miller team looks forward to answering any questions you may have and helping you with your next move. Thank you.
Pretty awesome video, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, and it was about showing people who he was, who they are as a team, and saying, we are different. We understand that you have different needs, wants, hurts, pains, desires, whatever it is, and we specialize in understanding those and tailoring the service that we provide to you. And it changes the game when they get that from Jason or Nathan or whoever, all the other clients that are doing it, and they don't get it from other realtors. It separates them from their marketplace. That's the opportunity that is available to you as well. Phase number 4 is this: client servicing. Client servicing. So once they sign, once they say, yes, you're my realtor, you're the one I want to work with, you're the person that I want to help me make one of the most important and large financial decisions I will ever make, I want to use you, this is where your marketing ought to be kicking up. This is where your marketing ought to be kicking up, because this is where repeat and referral business starts. This is where repeat and referral business starts. And most people, they go, well, they're in, so now I'll focus my marketing over here and I'll deliver on what they expect. And the question you need to answer here is instead, how can I improve my service and my communication with my clients? How can I improve the service and communication with my clients? See, if you just deliver what's expected, are they excited? No. When you get your expectations met, are you excited? No, we're not excited, right? If you don't show up at a hotel, you don't check in, and when you go to a hotel, you expect the staff is going to be friendly, right, and the rooms are going to be clean. It's pretty basic. That's what you expect when you go to a hotel. And if you show up at the hotel, the staff is friendly, the rooms are clean, do you go, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I got to call my friends and family. Post about it on Facebook, and you're like, you've got to check this place out. The rooms are clean, the staff is friendly. It's awesome. Your friends and family are going to be like, where have you been staying that's not normal? Right? Where have you been staying that you haven't gotten friendly staff and clean rooms? Like, are you staying on some skeezy motel on the side of the road that's got a 50-cent vibrating bed? Like that, I understand if that's your typical hotel. But if you're going to a good hotel, you expect that the rooms are going to be clean and the staff is going to be friendly. I was staying at a hotel in Minneapolis, St. Paul, a few years back, and it's called a Sofitel Hotel. It's a chain, and it's a French-owned chain. They're beautiful hotels, and this was the first time I had stayed in one. I hadn't stayed in a Sofitel hotel before, so I showed up with the same basic expectations: friendly staff, clean rooms, right? That's pretty basic. And so I show up, and as we're driving up, my wife Lisa's with me, and they pull up to valet. We pull up to valet, and they open the doors, and bonjour, monsieur, bonjour, mademoiselle. They start speaking in French, and that's all the French I know, so that's all the French you're going to get. And they do it, it's kind of funny because they're from Minnesota, so they do it with a Minnesotan accent. So bonjour, don't you know, right, or whatever. That's my best Minnesotan accent. I'm sorry, and all my friends in Minnesota, I love you, don't you know. Okay, so here's the thing. So they do it, it's fun, it's cute. I'm like, well, that's different than I expect, right? That's a little different. And we walk through the hotel, and everywhere we turn around, there's somebody going, can I help you? Monsieur, can I help you? Mademoiselle, can I help you? And they do this whole thing, and this whole thing. And by the way, they learned our name, so the next time we came down, it wasn't bonjour, monsieur, it was bonsoir, Monsieur Robertson. See, I can't speak French. Sorry. So that's the thing. So we show up, and I'm like, okay, so they're starting to learn our names. That's separating us. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, that's a little different. Now, I have to get wake-up calls at 4:30 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning sometimes, because sometimes I have to be on stage early, and I can sleep through and snooze an iPhone. I'm very good at sleeping through and snoozing an iPhone. What I am not good at sleeping through is a phone that sounds like a fire alarm bell going off in the ear. That just jolts me out of bed and I wake up. So I call for a wake-up call. And when a wake-up call, when that is how you wake up at 4:30 in the morning, and you're pissed, what's the first thing you need? Coffee, right? You need coffee. And so I'm fumbling through, I'm fumbling through the room trying to find that in-room coffee maker. And those things kind of freak me out a little bit. I don't know about you, but I wonder when the last time was they were cleaned. And I travel a lot. And at 4:30 in the morning, I'm like, I don't know who's touched this, what's not been put in here, what has been put in here. Like, I don't know. And they kind of freak me out a little bit. But at 4:30 in the morning, I need coffee. So while I'm fumbling around trying to make coffee, there's a knock on the door. I'm like, who on earth is knocking on my door at 4:30 in the morning? So I go over, get a robe on, go over, open the door, and standing there with a white towel, gloves on, and a tray filled with 2 piping hot cups of coffee is a gentleman that works at the hotel. And he goes, Monsieur, would you like some coffee? I said, yes, sir, please bring more. Because this is only getting me started, my friend. I need more. And they did. They brought more. And now let me ask you a question. Did that cost them a lot of money? It cost them like 35 cents for 2 cups of coffee and a guy to deliver it up. But do you think it changed my perception of a wake-up call? Do wake-up calls still suck? Yeah, but when they come on the backside with 2 piping hot cups of coffee, they suck a little less, don't they? Yeah, they still suck, I'll be honest, they still suck. But now, do you think I measure every wake-up call against that experience? And do you think any hotel could spend 70 cents and one guy or one gal to walk up with a tray and deliver that same experience to me for 70 freaking cents? And yet, how many have done it? None. None have done it. So every experience that I have is now measured against that. Now, would you guys agree that sometimes in real estate, the bar for servicing our clients is so low that getting above that bar and exceeding client expectations is not that hard and not all that complicated sometimes? See, what we want to do is we want to look for ways to take very low bars in the industry, deliver above those expectations, because when we talk about something, it's for 2 reasons. Our expectations were not met, or expectations were exceeded in amazing and unique ways, and they don't all have to cost a lot of money. They don't all have to cost a lot of money. One of the things we encourage our clients to do is what we call schedule a weekly call with every single one of your clients, no matter what, come hell or high water, call them and update them on what's going on. And the first question we usually get from new clients is, what if nothing's going on? They're going to be pissed. Nobody's seen their home, they're going to be upset. I'm like, guess what? They're already upset. Do you think they're going to be more upset or less upset if they have to hunt you down? More upset, aren't they? So if they know that you have a call scheduled with them and you're going to call them every single week on that day at that time and you're going to deliver all news, good news, bad news, whatever news, to them at that time, do you think that might change their perception of you? Do you think that might change the experience that they have with you? What is everybody's biggest fear with a realtor? I'm going to have to hunt them down. They're never going to return my calls. So this changes it just from one little thing that doesn't take a lot of time, a lot of money. And by the way, do our clients call us at the most opportune times? They do, but it's the most opportune time for who? Them, not you. And so when you're chasing everybody else's schedule, everybody else's demands, you can't be the best you can possibly be. So what I would encourage you to do is say, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call you every single week, no matter what, come hell or high water, I'm going to show you what's going on in your home, and that's going to change the experience. It doesn't cost a lot, just takes a little bit of time, and now you regain control of your schedule. Little things. Now, there's good customer service and there's bad customer service. But the reality is you got to ask yourself, what is the level of service that I'm delivering to my clients, and how can I improve my service and my communication to deliver not just what they expect, but deliver beyond their expectations? All right, let's look at phase 5. Phase 5 is this, post-sale marketing. Post-sale marketing. So this is after the deal's done, everything's closed up. Now, what are you going to do to stay top of mind with your clients? That's the question you're going to ask yourself. How am I going to stay top of mind? If there's a second place where most realtors' businesses struggle, it's right here. Lead nurturing being number 1, post-sale follow-up number 2. But you want repeat referral, this is where you got to do. You got to stay top of mind. Because if you don't stay top of mind, you're not going to get the referrals, you're not going to get the repeat business because they forgot who you were, right? We all know the thing. 85% of people would refer their realtor if they could what? Remember their name. It's a cliche. I don't even know if it's true. But it probably is. Maybe it's 50%, maybe it's 40%, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, that sucks if that's you. It does. And so we want to make sure that we stay top of mind. And I want to show you what something like this looks like. One of our clients by the name of Camille Earhart, she does 81 touches every single year to her sphere of influence and her past clients. She's most people are like, oh, 81. But I'm going to be a spammer. You're not going to be a spammer. This isn't about spamming your past clients. And what she does is she mixes it up. She uses some of the ReMax tools that are available to her to send out weekly hot buy emails, and this is what's going on in the marketplace. And then she also sends out physical mail and direct mail, and she does client parties and all sorts of things. 81 touches, and she's never had one person go, hey, Camille, would you knock that off? That sucks. I'm just bored to tears with you. This is annoying. She delivers so much value. See, the key to staying consistent and delivering multiple touches is being somebody who delivers incredible value. Incredible value. See, if all you're doing is marketing yourself, you missed out on something. But if you put together a marketing plan that you go, man, that's a rad marketing plan. I love that marketing plan. This is good, and I'm delivering incredible value to the people that I care about. What you've got is you've got something that you can be proud of, that you're not spamming people and you're not annoying people, and people love to get from you, and they love to get those things from Camille. So notice for her, in 9 months, her gross commission income is up 69% to $296,000 gross commission income. This year, she will clear $450,000. She's crushing it. And she's very systems driven. Most people go, I can't make 8 touches, let alone 81. It's all about the systems on the back end. And Camille is a systems junkie. All right, so when it's all laid out, this is what it's going to do. From top to bottom, it's going to start at lead generation, then it's going to move to lead nurturing, lead conversion, client servicing, and then down to post-sale marketing. That's the funnel that most people are going to go through. That's the funnel most people are going to go through, and you've got to figure out, where do I need to improve at each one of those areas? What are the things that I could be doing better to improve my service at each one of those areas? Now, most people then go, okay, well, this is a lot, so where do I start? Where do I start with all of this? And there's 2 things I want you to do. 2 things. Number 1 is this. Look at those 5 phases. Every single one of us in here is good at some of those phases and not so good at some of those other phases. And I would encourage you to ask yourself this question. If I could wave a magic wand, snap my fingers, fix everything overnight in one of those phases, which one of those phases would have the largest impact on your business in the next year? And then focus there. Focus on that one phase that if you could just fix it overnight, it would just feel like, boom, changing my business. That's the one phase you need to start with, and then work down the different phases until you have a system from phase 1 to phase 5, and you go, I'm proud of this, and it's getting better, and I'm improving it, I'm tweaking it, I'm getting better and better at what I'm doing. That's the first thing. The second thing I want you to remember is this. What we're about at the end of the day is not the shiny objects. It's not the tools. We are in business. We are the CEOs of our own companies, and our job is to deliver incredible client experiences. But when we're stuck in SOS mode, when we're chasing shiny objects, right? How many remember that song, like, Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls? Remember that song? Don't go chasing shiny objects. Stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta do the things that work. At the end of the day, this is about us working with people one-on-one, delivering incredible client experiences. And sometimes we go, what does it mean to deliver incredible client experiences? When we have certain interactions, they release chemicals, and the 2 most important from a relational standpoint are oxytocin and serotonin. And those are the relational chemicals. When we get those things released in our brains, we emotionally connect with the person or the product or the service on the other side. And we want to emotionally connect, get people to release those chemicals in the brain. So the question is, how do we do it? See, most people go, but man, I don't know, that's got to be tough. You know, it is tough. It's not easy. I'm not here to tell you that it's easy. But what if I were to tell you that there is a company that managed to get that emotional connection? They used a soda machine to create an emotional connection with people. They actually released oxytocin and serotonin in their brains, and one person actually gave a hug to a soda machine. You'd be like, you're an idiot. No, I'm not. I want you to watch this. So if they can do that with the Coke machine, how much more can we do that with real people on the other side? How much more of an experience can we create? Because here's the thing, you guys, at the end of the day, the world needs you to be great. We don't need any more average real estate agents, amen? Your clients need you to be great. Your family needs you to be great. Your kids want you to be great. See, what happens is most of the time, though, we go through life and we settle. We settle for average. We settle for mediocre because you know what? Greatness is hard freaking work, as Darren Hardy said. Greatness isn't a myth. It's not something you do through superhero actions. It's something you show up every day and you execute and you execute and you execute and you don't settle. You don't settle for average. You don't settle for mediocre. You don't settle for, I'm just going to phone it in today. You say, you know what? Today is a day I have an opportunity to change somebody's life that I'm going to come in contact with. And if I can find a way to change their life over time, that is going to make me into somebody who is great, who changes lives. Our mission, our company's mission, is to help people create businesses that support their lives, not businesses that run their lives. What is your mission? What is your vision? What is your value? What do you do every day, day in and day out, that you say, if I execute this over and over and over again with consistency and I don't settle, that will make me great? What is that thing for you? Because every single person in this room, I've met so many of you, and it's so awesome that every single one of you has the ability to be great. The question is, what's holding you back? What's holding you back? Are you not creating the experiences that you need to create? Which of those 5 phases could you be doing? Because I promise you this, if you focus on just these few things, it will explode. It will ignite your business. You will easily hit 40% in the next 12 months in growth, if not more. So go be great and don't settle. Thank you guys so much. You're awesome.